it's no cost to you for 60 days. And we run into an easement problem or something, and now we're at 70 days. Maybe it was locked, but we've passed the lock. Now they're like, well, rates have gone up because Trump, went into wherever, and the world's all, so now we're at 4%. Maybe the best case scenario is we're doing a new closing disclosure. The worst case scenario is they no longer qualify for their loan. Because maybe they can't qualify at 4% at their purchase price because their payments move $400 a month based on that full point change.
So are you advising them in terms of make sure you get a good lock, do the float down, make sure you keep up on that?
Yeah, I tell them, I'm going to work closely with your lender. Let's all stay in a close communication loop. I have my lender touch them every week. I have escrow touch them every week. I touch them every week. So every week, Friday morning, my transaction coordinator, Jamie, sends me an email with each transaction timeline. I review it, I make any corrections or changes. When it's final, we send it to the client. Here's where we're at, here's what's coming up next week, here's what's to expect next. As always, call me if you have any questions between now and next Friday. Don't wait, please call me. So I'm touching them. I'm going to call their lender Friday afternoon. Have you spoke with the clients? Where are we at? Is their loan locked? Are you just watching their loan rate? Where are we at? Do you have all their documents? Do you need anything from them? Have you got the survey back? Is the appraisal come in? Did we exceed purchase price? I'm looking for all of the problems. So I'm touching them every week with the lender. I'm also touching escrow. Hey, this is where we're at in our timeline. You should have received copies this week of the inspection sign-off, the acceptance of J1, the appraisal. Do you have everything? Are we in order? Great. What's your next step? What are you waiting for? Oh, well, next week we're expecting blah, blah, blah. Does that coincide with what I have on my timeline with the lender? So I'm that project manager. I overkill. Most agents don't track and talk to these parties every week. But I have a high rate of closing. I have a very low fallout rate because I have a system that I work methodically and I don't deviate. And I have it in my schedule and it's a certain day and a certain time, and I do that religiously. So my clients will never say, oh, we never heard from Michelle, we didn't know what was going on in the transaction. They might be pissed off about something else. Our interest rates ran up, we really thought we should get the house for less. There was an easement, there's issues that come up, but there'll never be lack of communication. I didn't know where we were in the process. I didn't know what was going on.
And when you said that we exceed purchase price to the lender.
The lender will not fund the loan unless your appraisal comes in equal or greater than your purchase price.
Got it. Wasn't sure if you were referring to.
So we don't control that process. You as the listing agent will know because the appraisal will call you to come out and do an inspection. When they come out, you need to have utilities on, water and power, so that they can complete their appraisal. You also need those on for property inspection. So if you have someone who's moved out of the house that's been empty for months, you don't have the power on, Maui Electric does not do things in a day. You're gonna have to plan. I need to get the power on. When I list a property, I tell the owners right now, we need to turn the power and the water on as part of selling the property. Because as soon as we get into escrow, which could be day 1, could be day 30, we have to be ready for inspections, appraisals, and that those need to be on. If they come out and they're not on, they're going to note it in the report, and when the lender gets it, they're going to be like, we're at a stop, we cannot move forward, because this is not a complete appraisal or a complete inspection. They can't verify the plumbing's working, the electrical's working, all of
But
that.
for showing, you need that stuff working, don't you? Turning on lights.
You can do daytime open houses, you don't need lights.
Okay.
But optimally, you need lights. As a professional, you're gonna recommend to your client, can you force them to do it? No. But I've offered, I understand it's a financial hardship, I understand you're in transition, you're in a big major move to the mainland. Would you approve putting the utilities in my name and I will turn on the electric and the water? You have to be prepared to pay those deposits, pay those bills, as a cost of selling that property.
Do they reimburse you generally, or you just use it as?
It's by agreement. It's by agreement. Most of the time, I'll tell the seller, I'll pay it up front, and you can reimburse me at closing. And I would submit those bills to escrow.
And you can get power and water on quick enough? They don't take
It takes
100 years?
5 to 10 days, depending on what part of the island their crew is on, because they don't have people everywhere.
How do you find out how many water meters they have and where the easements are, if they have any?
Easements will show up in the preliminary title report. If there's a recorded easement, it will be on the preliminary title report. It'll designate the area and who has right of use.
Do you recommend we go look at a title report?
Yeah. I pull title reports before I list property.
And you can find them online?
No, you have to go to the escrow company and ask them to provide you with a pre-listing preliminary title report. Fidelity downstairs will do it for you at no cost.
Okay. And then about the water meters, how do you find out?
You call the county with the tax map key number and the physical address, and they'll verify that there's a county-connected meter on that property.
And they'll tell you what size?
Yeah, I'll tell you what size it is. It's a 2-inch line, it's an 8-inch line.
And does the size of the line decide if you can have an Ohana or not, or is that lot square footage?
The Ohana is lot square footage. The size of the line can contribute to fixture count. There's more than one thing they look at beyond just the lot size when they determine if you can have more than 1 meter, usually 1 meter per TMK, even if you have multiple structures.
So when listing, you should get a title report to see about easements. Should you look for anything else? Make sure there's no cloud on it.
I pull a flood and zoning confirmation from the county of Maui. So when you're in the MLS, on the upper right side that says additional documents, something along that line, and there's a drop-down menu. The very bottom one is zoning confirmation, flood and zoning confirmation. And you fill out the top portion, you email it to the planning department, and they confirm for you the zoning, the community plan designation, is it in a flood zone, is it in the SMA, special management area, and they sign it. And then I upload that with the listing into additional docs so that I'm not providing the information. I'm providing, they say, be the source of the source. I went to the county planning department who confirmed this information, and I'm uploading it for your convenience.
And you get that at what site were you on, did you say?
Within Paragon.
I also just got it, I Googled it and downloaded it last night. It's .gov.
It's a 1-page.
Yeah.
It's a .gov. It's
So when you get the
text.
title, if there was a cloud on their title, would you tell the owner we can't list
So
the
she's
cloud?
deals with her stuff, so they don't.
You could list it, but you'd want to be resolving it during the listing period. If it was something that was really major, that was going to take a long time, you might take care of it before you listed it. Most things are minor. Most people don't even know they're there. Most of the time we stumble into them. And I have an owner who told me, the fence is on my property. We had a survey done, and they stood here while we built the fence, and it's 4 inches inside the property line. And they put that fence up 50 years ago. Now they come out, the survey equipment's more accurate, it's digitized, it's electronic, it's not a manual survey plane, and they survey it and they're like, you're 2 inches over. Well, our property line didn't move. You're 2 inches up, according to the current modern survey, you are encroaching on your neighbor's property. So we can enter into an encroachment agreement, which your neighbor, if they like you, will just sign the papers.
Yeah.
If they don't like you, they may want money to sign the papers, or they may refuse. If they refuse, if you want the buyer's loan to be funded and you want to get to closing, that fence is either coming down and or being moved in. If the buyer makes their offer based on it being a fully fenced property, you may be paying for that fence to be brought down and moved inside the property line and put back up. Other buyers I worked with have been like, let's just cure the encroachment, take the fence down, you don't have to put a new fence in. We'll plant some trees there, we'll do something, we'll figure it out.
So people generally are easy or not necessarily? It all depends. It all depends, okay.
Early in my career, I had probably a 70-30 mix, where 30% were difficult and challenging. And probably of that, 10% were real, just unreasonable people. As you get traction in your career in real estate, you have greater control and you can choose who you want to work with and who you don't want to work with. And for example, I work here on Saturdays a lot, and I was here by myself, and we had a guy come in a week or two ago, and he was just creepy weird. And he's like, I'm here to see Lisa, and it's a Saturday, Lisa's not here. I'm thinking, I said, do you have an appointment? No. Okay, well, let me get your name and number. And he writes it, I said, can you write it down here? And he rips it off the thing. You know, and so Lisa comes in, I'm like, I don't know if you know this guy, if he's your client, but he is creepy weird. Here he is. She calls him, and he's a seller wanting to list his house. And he'd been in and out of open houses all week, and he said, ask them all, who do you report to? Who knows all the agents in your company? And they all said, Lisa Dykstra, our team leader. So she calls him, and she kind of gets off the phone and she says, he's a seller, he wants to list his home. I said, that's great, give him to someone else. She goes, well, you were here when he came in, do you want the lead? I'm like, nope. I want as far from him as I can stay, but I'm in a position I can say that.
Yeah.
Had I been earlier in my career, I took everything. I answered my phone at all hours of the night. But you, even early in your career, have the ability to pick and choose who you work with. I've had clients who we've gotten into bumps who are really great people. But you know, sometimes bumps bring out the worst in people. And I've had people curse at me, threaten me, issues that have come up in your contract. I call them bumps in the road. And I have fired clients in escrow. I've said, I don't accept being spoke to that way, and if we can't resolve it, we need to bring another agent in. And I'm gonna step out of the transaction and they can pay me a 25% referral fee. Because I don't make enough money to put up with garbage.
Interesting that people can be like that.
You have all spectrums. You have really wonderful people who close, they love you to death, they're gonna bring you a gift basket.
Mm-hmm.
They're gonna take you to dinner. They're gonna tell 80 of their friends how great you are.
That's how all ours are.
And then you have some who think that they know the right answer, or they want you to do something unethical or illegal, and you have to figure out where is your line in the sand. My line in the sand is I'm not gonna do anything unethical or illegal. I'm not gonna lean over the line. I'm gonna not get to the line. Like, we're not even gonna get to the line. So you have to decide for yourself who you wanna work with. And as an independent contractor, as a real estate professional, you get to make that decision. If there are people that you call on your listing and say, hey, I wanna go see your listing, I'll meet you at your office, will you drive me out to that property? We're visiting. I'm gonna pre-qualify them first, I'm gonna get proof of funds first, I'm gonna have a lender pull their credit first, and even after that, I don't put people in my car, ever.
Because?
I don't feel in control and my personal safety. If you put someone in your back seat, you have lost complete control. You put the wife in front and the husband behind you, you have lost complete
So
control
even
of your
if it's-
physical
Even
safety.
if it's a couple, you don't assume.
I don't
it's
put
safe.
anybody in my car. And I've had people say, oh, you got a nice car, let's ride with you. Oh, I'm sorry, I've got another appointment right after that.
I'll meet
You're
you
welcome to follow me, you're welcome to meet me there. I also won't take people out to a property unless I've met them here in this office first.
And you get an okay feeling about them.
I get a copy of their driver's license. And I make a copy of their driver's license.
Leave it here.
Our company policy is we are not allowed to take anyone out to view property until we've submitted a copy of your ID to our broker. And I make the copy and I go in and I put it on my desk and I text my daughter or another realtor I'm heading out to 1155 Mexico, which is 3/4 of the way to Haiku, way out in the boonies. If I'm going out there, I'm taking another realtor with me. I'm not going by myself. I'm scheduling ahead of time. I'll pay you $50. I'm gonna call a new agent. Pay you $50 to come out there with me.
Okay,
Good plan.
No one is gonna take care of your safety but you.
okay.
So no one gets in my car. And I've never lost a deal because of that. If they tell me, oh, we're at the Grand Wailea, we don't have a car, well, you know what? I'm sorry, our company policy is I cannot put you in my car, but you can rent a car right there at the hotel.
Really?
You can take an Uber to the airport and pick up a rental. If they can't afford to rent a car, I'm not showing them property. I don't know you, I don't know who you are, I don't know where you came from. And people at risk to us come in all shapes and sizes.
Exactly.
Was it at the meeting yesterday?
Yes.
Did it came up that somebody's doing a class at RAM or here?
Yeah,
At RAM, right?
Beverly Carter's son
Yeah, that was the one I
That's
thought
his-
maybe we're
his
seeing.
whole,
His mother was,
was murdered at an open house.
yeah.
Wow.
And she didn't want to, the way they told it, that I heard the snippet, is she didn't want to go in. So she said, you go in, I'll wait out here.
Oh, that was another
Oh,
agent
that was
on
another
the
one.
main
Oh, that was
recent
another
list.
one. Oh, okay. So she waited outside and then he ended up pushing her in.
Yeah.
So even if you try to take precautions like that, because.
Well, when you're taking safety classes in real estate, they'll tell you, always stay near the exit. Never walk in with a customer coming in behind you, with the door behind you. You always gesture them in, after you. And if they're like, no, after, you're like, no, after you. And then I will even take a step back. Go in and take a look. I've got a call I've got to return.
Okay,
You know, if you just don't get a good feeling, don't go in.
okay.
You know, I'm so sorry. My phone is just off the hook. I've got to call my office. Call Latasha. Hey, Latasha, I have nothing to say to you. I'm out here with this really creepy guy. I'm at 225 Main Street. I'm going to call you again in 15 minutes.
Got it.
Latasha will take your calls all day long. And she'll write down, Deb called at 1:15, we'll call again at 1:30. You know, you guys are buddied up so you can call and text each other. I call my daughter, I call friends on the mainland, I call other agents. You gotta put your own systems in place that makes you feel comfortable. I am super cautious. I'm the one who's gonna err every single time, and if that costs me business, that's okay with me.
Because you're in a position.
I'm going home.
Yeah.
I'm going home that day. Okay, so back to our contract to close process. All of these things we talked about were things that could derail your funding of your loan, or have to require the closing disclosure be reissued. Once you have had your client sign their documents, they've funded the loan, the documents have been pouched to Oahu, you are now at closing. Have any of you had a closing? Okay, so you're working with a title company, they're gonna call you at 8 in the morning, and they'll say, hi, this is Pam Teal from Fidelity downstairs, congratulations, we just recorded your sale at 8:06. Please transfer keys, you're clear to go. Your deal's done, you're recorded. So now you can meet your clients, if you're the listing agent, meet the buyer's agent at the property to give them the keys, so they can then give their buyer the keys. You're gonna be able to have the check and funds transferred into Keller Williams that day. If you have done your green sheet and uploaded all your file documents, send it to your broker so that they review the file. They review that they have all your documents and that they're correct prior to signing off on your file. Once that's done, you're gonna get your check.
How are we gonna learn where to find the green sheet?
In one of your contract classes. It's the Essentials series. Yeah. And they're actually doing away with green sheets. It's now called, you load it in command under an opportunity. So when you have a contract, it goes in under an opportunity, and then it goes forward and you track it in there. Which is new. Any questions on this?
Probably next week I will.
Okay.
I'll be calling you.
Well, you have my number. If not, I'll give it to you all before we go. Okay. So now we're gonna go to page 17, which is your systems equal success. Throughout the entire contract to close process, follow up regularly with the closing title or escrow company and your loan officer to be sure everything is progressing on schedule. My system is every Friday. I review the timeline, I talk to escrow, I talk to the lender, I talk to the client. Every Friday. So you will create your own schedule. Both agents should attend the closing to be a resource to their clients and to be sure items like keys, security codes, openers that provide access and security and the use of the property are turned over to the buyer. It's also a chance to thank your client and ask for referrals. At the closing table, when you go to Fidelity 3 days before closing for your clients to sign all their documents, there's a lot. Especially they have all the loan documents, and they have all the purchase documents, all the title documents. The last thing I do is I give them a blank piece of paper with an envelope and a pen. And I said, today is the happiest you're gonna be about this purchase. Please write down for me everything I did well for you and any opportunities. And or a testimonial that you'll allow me to use about my service. And just put it in the envelope, give it to the title officer. I'll get it sometime next week. And then I have the title officer call me when they've left. I go back and I get it. Because I get immediate feedback. What did they like? What didn't they like? You know, I still, other things that I do that rub people the wrong way, and I'm like, oh, that's a good learning. Next time I won't do that. You know, I'm constantly evolving my own services 29 years in. So we all can learn every day, different things to do. We covered this early on in my earlier discussions.
Do you ask, would you use me again for the next transaction?
No. No. I will stay in touch with them and I will put them on my post-closing campaign, and I will send them purchase anniversary cards or gifts, and I will touch them every quarter so that I am a woven part of their life and not just the realtor. So, you know, I'll remind them, like in the spring, hey, is Johnny in softball this year? But when they have fundraisers come around, make sure you call me. I want to buy some plate lunch tickets. You know, I support their family. I see something in the community that I know interests them. Oh, did you know Mapa's getting ready to sell tickets for their annual Nutcracker play? I know your daughter Susie loves ballet. Or I have extra tickets. Would you like to join me at the Nutcracker on December 12th? My treat. So there are ways that you can develop post-closing processes and systems to nurture those relationships. Okay, page 1819, closing checklists. On the left, you have the buyer agent contract to close checklist. And on page 19, you have the listing agent contract to close checklist. I use my timeline, but these are secondary things you can use if you choose, just to see that are things being done. You can create your own combined piece, but the primary one I use is our timeline.
And you said it was in documents on the My KW under internet, right? Documents. Sorry.
You can't find documents?
No.
Okay, so log into mykw.kw.com.
Just there, here.
All right, you're gonna get there two ways, My Market Center intranet.
Where'd you go?
Up here on the top,
Intranet.
My Market Center intranet,
Okay,
right here.
okay.
All right, here, go back up to the top. You're gonna go Market Center, which is in the red on top. You're gonna go down to Documents.
Okay.
All right, you're gonna go down, there's a file that has 50 or 60 documents in it.
18.
Markings.
Right here, office forms. All right, put down.
That's good to know. That's good to know.
These are all KW specific forms.
Timeline.
And these, yeah, timeline should be there. Transaction checklist is one. No, that's not it. There, go back up.
Search timeline.
No, keep going up. ask Marion where she's gonna go right now. I have it saved on my desktop, so I don't pull it from there that often.
I'm sorry, Michelle.
Escrow
No
timeline
problem.
template.
Can you tell me where the agent's requiring the
Well,
timeline?
I went to a search and I put in timeline, so here I have a folder.
What
with-
search? Where's?
Right in here.
Okay.
This doesn't seem to have it.
Okay, so they're gonna cover that in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
But you have a timeline document, so you'll use that document to make sure that all your terms from your purchase contract go in.
And everything's in the intranet. It's called escrow timeline. It's its own folder in the intranet.
Okay, well, I just took them into office documents, so if you go back out of office documents into escrow timeline.
Okay,
Okay?
thank you, thank you.
It's got its own folder.
Thank you, Marion. Okay, so
This won't open. Oh, I don't know how to use my laptop. Okay.
well, now it comes in as a, it's gonna open up for you. And then you can save that to your desktop. Okay, so I'm gonna close this out. Sorry, I didn't mean to touch that. And then this is the information that you put in, and that, those deadlines come right off of your purchase contract. Okay, so as you go from page 1 through your purchase contract, each item that has a timeline will have an entry line in that document.
Okay.
Okay, so we looked at the buyer agent contract close. You guys can read, I'm not gonna go through each of these items. Okay, page 20, your turn to be a problem solver. Common issues and solutions. Part of being a great problem solver is taking advanced inventory of things that can go wrong in the contract to close phase of a transaction and creating a plan on how you're gonna deal with it. With a partner, fill in the blanks on the next 2 pages. Identify possible solutions to common issues in the contract to close process. So you have 15 minutes to do that. The 3 of you can work together since there's just 3 of you.
You do?
I got 10 minutes.
Okay.
All right, well then let's spend 10 minutes working
Okay,
on it.
spend 10 minutes.
So Erin, if you want, you can turn around and work with them, or you can fill it in on your own, whichever you prefer. But you want to talk through, here's your issue, here's what could go wrong, what are potential solutions to those issues that can go wrong.